People rise and fall on habits. So, whether you're in business or you're in life and you want to be successful, where you are right now is a reflection of your habits. You can either have habits that are pushing you forward, habits that are pulling you back, or habits that are causing you to mark time. Now, you need to evaluate your habits and put yourself in that position of strength where you can make an informed decision what habits is doing for you. Our task here today is to present to you a number of essential habits that can push you forward in business and in life. So I want to encourage you to get your pens and paper as usual. I want you to call a friend and tell a friend that Habits and Money, we're on today, and we're going to be bringing you top news to top notch and top up your business scale up. Now, with me in studio today, I'm not alone. I have a team of dynamic personalities that will be joining me to support in this conversation. First, I'm going to invite Clement Frank. And Clement Frank, he is an economist by profession. And the economists, they take the time to understand those factors that influences economic development and those issues that may hold it back. So you have an expert that will be able to do that deep dive into economic realities to really help you to understand elasticity and inelasticity of demands. Frank is also a leader by profession, and he's about to release a new book. So you have an exceptional talent over that side to really help you make better, smarter business decisions. Along with Frank, I have another top-notch player, and his name is Peter Go Scott, and he's a theologist by profession. I mean, he's spent many years studying theology. It's an area of studies that I had wanted to do, but I say he's the part of me that I didn't get to do. You know, he's an expert in theology, but he also is an entrepreneur, and he does a lot of work in the US to really help ministers and leaders to get their ideology just right to make the kind of impact that they need to make to transform their community. Peter has also been the brain behind Legacy Chronicle Human Growth Program. This is an initiative that is designed to really help you, the individual, and the organization to really focus on sustainable resource development and really getting you to become the best version of yourself. So, with that being said, I want to welcome both of you, colleagues, to today's program. How are you guys?
Fantastic, great, wonderful,
Beautiful.
excellent.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, today we're going to be having a pretty interesting conversation. We're going to be talking about habits that influences your business and success. So let's get ready to ramble. I want to begin today's program by looking at the subject in a particular context. I want to look at the very first habit that I believe every rising star in business and in life should be able to focus on. You see, starting a business is one thing. It is an exciting journey. Wanting to position yourself to make major financial breakthrough, it's also an excited pathway to be on. But the big question you want to ask yourself at both of these spectrum is how prepared are you for success? And what does preparation looks like? So I'm going to spend some time talking about habits and preparation because one of the first things that you want to look at to own and master is the degree of preparation that you have for the success that you're going after. Now, what we have done we have designed a platform that we call the art and science of success. So, to our community, one of the first things that we say to you is that when you want to be prepared for success, you want to take it to another level. You want to ask yourself, what is success, what is art, and what is science, and how all of this combined is going to make the pathway easier for you. So let me try to explain this a little bit. We find that there are different tiers to success. And you, as a rising star in business and in life, you need to really take the time to understand each of these tiers. For example, there is average success. You making a decision to, take a walk to the park with your loved one, and you actually executing on that path. It is considered a success. You may have mid-level success. You making a decision to study for a particular subject, and you come out, with your first degree or second degree, and you you pass this in flying colors. That's another layer of success. But you also have exceptional and major success, and that could be you making a decision to start and scale a business and take it IPO, where it can make international impact. That in of itself is success too. But what is going to take for you to attain major success? How prepared are you for this? And let me give another example of this. Can you imagine that you're going to fight a world class boxer, and you simply start practicing 2 days before, and you have this falsified notion that you're good enough to come up against this world class boxer? How prepared are you for success? Before you say mark, set, go, because you're completely ill prepared, the world class boxer is going to knock you out. So you need to be prepared. So some of the things that we talk about in our platform to really get people prepared to do battle, to position yourself for success, we get you to start clearly defining what is the success that you want to accomplish. And then we get you to look at what is the art and the science to achieve that. Now, we always say art is the strategies that you're going to be using, it's the tools that you're going to be using, it's the processes that you're going to be using, it's the systems that you're going to be using to accomplish success. And how do you reach to that point to predetermine the best tools and processes and strategies to use to accomplish success? Perhaps you can start by identifying the top 5 successful persons in your field. And by identifying the top 5 successful persons in your field, you can extract information on the strategies, the tools, the processes, the systems that they might have used to accomplish success. So you document that. So in your database, you have information. That in of itself is called collecting the right information that you can now up level into decision making processes. All right. So you now understand strategies and tools and processes and systems that was used to achieve a particular end result. So you now can adopt this in your business model. That's one approach that you can use. But being prepared, it means that you have the information. It is like you taking the time to not allow ego to get into the way, and you're going into the ring to fight a top class boxer, and you didn't study the top class boxer. If you want to win that fight, you need to study all of the top class boxer fights. So you understand how they move and shake, how they bob and weave, and you're studying them. So when you get into that ring, you totally understand how to navigate the terrains of that ring and how to use the energy of the top class boxer against them because you have the information. Now, it's because you have this information about the top class boxer, you can now take it to another level. You understand their art, you build your art against them, and now you have what you call a scientific approach to defeat the top class boxer because you have studied them, you have outworked them, you have a better strategy to win in the ring of boxing and in the ring of life and in the ring of business. You have taken this time to really understand the ecosystem in which you're playing in. So you come prepare. Again, I want to put out again, can you imagine going to the battlefield to do battle and you're going with a toy gun because you're bluffing, but your competition, they have high powered weapon and you're playing in that terrain. By default, you're going to lose. You lose before you even say mark, set, and go. And that's not being prepared. All right. So habits that you want to learn, apply, and master is the habit of preparedness. So I've only given you one element. You need to understand what is it that you want to accomplish. What is the art of accomplishing that? Art is tools, processes, systems, strategies. What is the science? When you understand the science now of what you're going to do, and before you start that process, science really allows you now to understand the high reward that you want to accomplish and how to accomplish it. It enables you to understand measurable results because there's measurable that you want to accomplish. It allows you to identify what is the predictable outcome that you want to achieve. And it allows you to do all of this with the highest degree of accuracy. So you have the information. It's like you go into the candy store and you know you have a lot of young ones at the candy store. And you know that from the time you take out the candy and you start to distribute your ice cream cone, all the kids are going to be happy. That's, the high reward that you want. That's the predictable outcome that you want. That is a scientific outcome that you want because you take the time to understand young people and you know that candy store and you want to appeal to them. So you set up the candy store, the ice cream parlor to appeal to their interests. The same principles apply to preparation for success. The people that you're appealing to in business, they're just like that kids that have their specific ice cream cone and candy, store that they like. And if you don't spend enough time understanding your ideal client to know what are their ice cream castle or chocolate castle or wealth building castle, if you don't understand this about the ideal client, you lose the battle before you say mark, set, and go. You see, to win is not necessarily about your ego. To win is not necessarily about you. Yes, you matters, but what really matters it is your ability to identify people's needs, wants, and expectations. That's the opponent. And once you understand people's needs, wants, and expectations, you know how to navigate a high intense battlefield because you now understand people needs, wants, and expectations. So you could innovate products and services with clinical precision. And this is your ability to innovate products, provide products and service in alignment with the expectations of the needs, wants, and expectations of the ideal client. That's what's going to help you to win. So that's the battle that you have to win. It may not be, a gun battle, but the battle that you have to win is really understanding people and ensuring that whatever your MVO is, your minimum or most viable offer is that it aligns to people's dreams, hopes, and aspiration. And it's called preparation. So you don't get into any path to build success and you're not prepared. The more prepared you are, is the better position you are to be successful. So I'm trusting that rising stars in business who might be making an emotional decision to start a business, that you can just pause a bit and recognize that you need to get emotional to the equation and ensure that you have the facts that is helping you to make better, smarter business startup and scale up decision. So this is only one element. There are many more for us to look at. So I trust that you take away a lot from the first habit. And habits that we talk about today is the habit of preparedness. It gives you a chance to be influential because when you have the habit of taking the time to understand people and how to win the battle of influencing people, you become an influencer. They know you, they like you, they trust you, they want to do business with you. That's the battle that you want to win. I'm going to pause it for now and I'm going to pass to Master Frank. All to you, my friend.
Thank you, Gary. And a good morning to everyone there. Hope you hear me well.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Well, it's another morning, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up and made my bed, took a shower, start my journey towards my office. Now, a lot of us have this everyday, daily routine.
Routine.
So, how do we find ourselves into this routine?
Mm-hmm.
And do you know that sometimes we perform a series of activities without even knowing
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing? It's like we are in a mechanization stage. And how do we form the habits that we have? Our daily activities and the frequency we practice makes our habit formation. And habits are formed based on repetition. So the more we repeat an action, the more it gets formed and creates powerful neurons. James Clear, in his book called Atomic Habits, explains the relationship between the repetition of actions and the creation of new neurons. Your habit depends much on the extent to which we are repeating our actions over and over. And the more we repeat an action, the more it becomes our strong habit. The degree of our success depends much on the habits we have. So patterns at an early age, they are a product of our genetic inheritance from our parents. Patterns,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter how smart you are, if you lack the spirit of discipline, if you lack the spirit of practicing positive habits, then success won't be on your way. Filtering and analyzing your habits is essential as it helps you to understand who you are and what thoughts and practices you should create for your future success in business or your personal life. So your habit will link together with your progress. If you want to excel in any area of your life, it is essential to learn good habits and unlearn bad habits. See, learning involves practicing the new good habits such as waking up early, exercising every morning, thanking your colleagues, stop eating junk food, KFC. You are who you are because of what you do. If you want to be someone else, then change what you do. You can't be a football player if you don't play football. And also, you can't be successful if you don't have successful habits. So, the foundation of successful habits is a frequency practice of what you want to do. And on the other side, if you had a terrible foundation, you're not late because it is possible for to unlearn bad, um, what do you call habits. And let me just get into a few of them and explore crucial aspects of practicing that link with your success. The first thing is good habits influence emotional intelligence. I'll repeat that. Good habits influence emotional intelligence. This is a connection between the right practice or right practices and the degree of emotional intelligence, especially in an executive position in successful companies. The top executives must have excellent emotional intelligence skills because they are directly linked. They are directly linked with potential customers, and also they have an influence on the productivity of their subordinates. So while technical skills are based on knowledge acquired from the college, emotional intelligence is practically based on your ability to understand what? Your emotions, to understand other people's emotions and create a common ground between your emotions and others. And it was Daniel Goleman, a Harvard professor and an expert in the field of emotional intelligence. He believes that emotional intelligence increases with age. The link between emotional intelligence and age explains why it is important for young entrepreneurs to invest in learning soft skills at the early stages of the startup. And in this article concerning leadership with the Harvard Business Review, um, Goldman says, he says, without it, a person can have the best training in the world, analytical mind, and an endless supply of smart ideas, but he won't still make a great leader. And one of the reasons for the failure of many startups is not technical skills, but soft skills such as emotional intelligence. According to Goldman, the more you continue to grow, the more you earn emotional intelligence skills. In other words, emotional intelligence is maturity. Young entrepreneurs should also focus on learning good habits and link them with their technical skills and leadership skills. And if you're a software developer of an innovation company, it's obvious you will have the skills concerning coding, but not social skills. The difference between those who excel in their fields and those who do not is not the IQ they possess, but their habits and their degree of emotional intelligence. And if you want to make it in any field, then what you need to do is create good habits. Good hiring managers do not hire people depending on their GPA only, but also the ability to interact friendly with customers and market the company's products through their good habits. I'll give this over to Gary now, and when I return, I'll tell you about good habits, how it improves relationship with customers, and etc. Over to you, Gary.
Yeah, Frank, first of all, I want to really say how much I enjoyed the statement that you made, especially when you start to talk about emotional intelligence. And but as you went into your examination of the the person you were pulled the information from, I see that there's two sides to the coin, because what studies has also shown is that emotional intelligence, there's two sides to the coin. And let me just try to make a statement, and I'm going to just expand very briefly on it before I come to Peter. Now, emotional intelligence, yes, it's about understanding yourself, and it's also about understanding the people in your environment. Understanding emotional intelligence and being able to apply emotional intelligence does not necessarily means that it is only to demonstrate empathy, because as a student of HR, you recognize that any effort to manage the human resource is not about your ability to be autocratic or democratic or paternalistic. Sometimes you have to know how to deploy all of them. In fact, emotional intelligence uh, would encourage you to stay away from the autocratic approach of leadership. But let me make the statement, and then I'll just expand very briefly on it, and perhaps I'll give an example. Sometimes to be the instrument of peace, you have to be the face of war. And I repeat this, sometimes to be the instrument of peace, you have to be the face of war. It might sound very complex, but what I've learned is that the peacemaker sometimes you're disregarded, but the person who you know have the arsenal to respond in times of abuse and arrogance, they're able to hold peace, to maintain peace, because they're able to deter persons from, they're able to deter the threat. All right. Think about it in this way. Emotional intelligence also means that you use this intelligent body of knowledge to deter unnecessary players. So you have a building, you know that the building may attract some unnecessary players because you have money stores in the building, you have gold in store in the building. So what do you do to deter? You're using emotional intelligence here to do that. So you bring in the best security guards, high-powered weapon, all the cameras to repel persons from coming in. So emotional intelligence can be used at both sides of this coin. Just going to put that out there. It can be weaponized at both ends of the spectrum. But I love what you said there, Frank. Yes, you're perfectly correct there. But I just want to say it can also be leveraged at the other end. And sometimes in life, we just have to be the peacemaker that has the face of war. That's a little poetry, but I'm going to come now to Peter. All to you, my friend.
Good to be here again, Gary, and to be with you, Frank, and to receive and also to give to our community, because there's so much that the world is becoming so much more challenging on a day by day basis. And what we would love to empower these individuals who are participating from this program to give them that edge, even as we're speaking about habits. And I like the way how you started your voice in communicating this to the audience, Frank, that habits is something that we do without even realizing that we're doing it. There are certain things that we do repeatedly. We do it so often that we it becomes like second nature. And it is those things that really determine who we actually are. And in business, in whatever discipline, in whatever practice, that we engage our community, there are certain things that we do. There are certain things that leads to success. And when we understand what those things are, it makes it easier for us to navigate ourselves from where we are, where we're coming from, to where we are and where we want to go. And so what I want to, there's one habit that is so essential that I highlight. But then what I want to do in highlighting, in breaking it down, is to you're going to do one thing, but it's who you're going to do it to that will now bring some clarity in what we're the habits that we're cultivating, because at every level it requires that it has to be done differently. So the one habit that is essential, that can be distributed differently for different results, is communication, right? Communication. Every business, every entity, every as an individual, and in our master planning program, when we're talking, communicating to individuals, we want individuals to become proficient. In my field, I speak to a lot of individuals they are speakers, and the idea of speaking more clearly to be able to communicate in such a level by which their message get across more easily and people understand what is that we are saying. Communication is essential, And it does take a high degree of planning, and we emphasize that over. Gary, you mentioned it so often as well. In your preparation, in order to be prepared, you have to plan in order to be prepared. So master planning, is essential. We constantly have to have an overview of what it is that we are actually trying to do. So also in the area of communication, it is essential that as we are communicating, we know who are communicating to. So what I want to us to do now is to draw some concentric circles like a target, and out of the outer spheres of the circle is where we're going to begin, because we want to be able to penetrate and to take our communication from the outer circles to the very core. And so the 5 levels that we need to be communicating to, and speaking to leaders, you're going to start, say, with you're going to try to attract a community to you. So just your community, as you step out here, it is just any and everybody that you are engaging. What do you say that is going to cause somebody, you're going to interrupt their pattern? There is something that you have to say, and there's a certain way you have to say to interrupt your pattern. So you may just make a joyful noise. You just make a you may just create a noise, to just let people begin to look at you. So you have to do something that is going to interrupt the community, the vast number of individuals, because that's where the noise is. It's a great amount. You go on the internet. How do you go on the internet? And there's Instagram, and there's Facebook, there's Google, and there's all these. How are you going to go on the internet for somebody to stop what they're doing? Somebody's scrolling through Instagram or whatever it is. They're on YouTube, and they're coming to YouTube, and they're trying to find out where they're going to go to get the solution. How do you create an interrupt that is going to cause that vast community to stop and pay attention to you? So communication, how you communicate to the community to stop the vast number to pay attention to you, is important. Now, when you begin to speak to that vast number of community, there's a particular crowd out of the community. Some will just look and they will walk away. Some will stop the scroll and pay attention. So there is another number of people that we can call them out of the community. Now they could be the crowd. There could be the crowd. So now some individuals will stop and pay attention because somehow something that you are saying resonate with that audience, that lesser carving out of the community, which we could now call your crowd. As you're walking through your community, there are pockets of people. You're passing by the park, and there's a pocket of people right there. You go down the road, and there is a storefront. There's a pocket of people, and each crowd has a different focus as to what they're doing. Now, what you want to do is carve out your crowd. So you're going to attract the community, then you're going to come to your crowd. And there are some things that you have to communicate. So you've got to plan what it is that you're going to say at each level to bring that attention to yourself. When I come back around, I'm going to move into how you can connect to the other levels around. But look at how you're going to step out into the marketplace, do something, how you're going to communicate to get people to pay you attention, and then how you're going to get that crowd of gatherers to give you even more pointed attention. In the next round, I'll come out with the other points.
All right. Good points. One of the things I would always say is identify large groups that has major problems and speak to the interests of that group. Perhaps it's speaking in the context of a politician. Frank, you're not laughing at the jokes, man. You need to. All right. I want to add a little bit. I start off the program by talking about the habits of preparedness. Now, the of preparedness in the context of how we developed it, it stands on four pillars. What I give to you is pillar one. And pillar one say when you want to be successful, you need to be prepared. But what does the phase of preparation looks like? You should know that. So I'm going to quickly go through this, and then I'm going to go to the second habit because the habits of preparedness stands on four pillars. I'm not going to go deeper into this. I'm going to come to the other one. So the first pillar is you understanding the level of success that you want to accomplish. And then you ask yourself, what are the science? What are the art to accomplish this? And what is the science to accomplish this? So you know what you want to accomplish, but then what is the art? And what is art? Art is strategies and tools and processes and systems to aid you to accomplish that you have established. What is science? Because the last thing that you want is to put your time, talent, and resources into any task that is not going to give you the results that you want. Of course, sometimes you may have to research before you come to the scientific approach of achieving the goal. But what is science in this context? Science is you being able to have high reward, measurable outcome results, predictable outcome with the highest degree of accuracy. Now, what this is actually saying, as you set your goal, is there anything that you can do to help you achieve the highest degree of accuracy? Achieve your goal with the highest degree of accuracy, with predictable outcome. So the first concept looks at that. The second concept under this heading is where we talk about evidence-based marketing. And yes, there's a term, evidence-based marketing. And what this is saying is that you have to get involved in research. You have to get involved in collecting sensitive data, analyzing sensitive data, leveraging sensitive data, and mitigating sensitive data into any process that you're going to be using to realize targeted end results. And perhaps the reason we see so many people across the world struggle to realize success in business and in otherwise is because you don't have this scientific approach. You don't have this data-driven approach to actualize the success that you're going after. The next concept, the third pillar, very quickly that I want to look at is what we're going to call evidence-based leadership. You know, sometimes you're following a leader that says that this is the way to optimize customer satisfaction. This is the way to, create customer for life. But as you listen to these concepts, you need to ask yourself, what are the data that they're using to make these type of prediction? Perhaps it might be an influencer that is saying to you, this is the way you go about increasing your influence. But then what is the evidence-based data that they're using to make their prediction? Because very often you may find persons are making prediction, but then there's no data behind it. And this is when you use speculation. You may be an expert, but because you are this expert, you are now extrapolating speculation as data. That could be very misleading. So in this particular context where we talk about evidence-based, you want to ask about the evidence. But let me go slightly deeper into this. Evidence-based leadership is really saying to you that you have the ability to think ahead, you have the ability to see beyond problems, and you have the ability to take informed action to achieve a specific end result. And again, there are major differences between action and informed action. millions and billions of people across the world. You take specific action to achieve your business objective. You take action to attain your personal, dreams and hopes and aspirations. But taking action doesn't mean that you're going to be guaranteed success. What guarantees it is when you have the right mentor, the right coach, the right sponsors, the right supportive community to support you in that pathway to achieve the end result. So preparation is saying to you that it makes sense to have the right mentor on your side. It makes sense to have the right coaches on your side. It makes sense to have the right sponsors on your side. It makes sense to have the right supportive community on your side as part of your preparedness to achieve whatever targeted end results that you want to accomplish. All part of preparation. What does preparation looks like for you? You see, very often we say be prepared, but that's like an abstract painting to the average person. They don't have a clear mental picture in terms of what being prepared is all about. In our context and on our program, we ensure that we leave no room open for that to happen to our audience base, to our clientele base. It's like leadership. You have so many different shades of leadership, and you find that people get lost in the lingos. They get lost in this translation of what is being expressed. And I think one of your responsibility as great leaders is to ensure that you can remove all the abstract interpretation and ensure that you lay the foundation where people have a clear mental picture of what you're saying. Now, let me move to the second habit. So we talked briefly about the habit of preparation and what it looks like. We talk about the art and science of success. We talk about evidence-based marketing, evidence-based leadership, and evidence-based management. The one that I want to just go into just a little bit here is we're going to call it the habits of application. Because what we have seen is that many persons, you spend many years preparing. You're going for your diploma, you prepare for that. You're going for your first degree, you prepare for that. You're going for your doctorate, you prepare for that. You're going for your master and PhD, you prepare for that. But what happens after the preparation? What happens after the preparation? You have to apply yourself. So one of the habits that you want to learn, apply, and master when you want to position yourself for success in business and in life is to master the art of application. Again, what exactly is application? Application, again, could be very abstract depending on who you're talking to, or if even you form your own interpretation of what application is, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be aligned with what the author is saying. So again, what we do is to ensure that as we speak, you have a clear mental picture of what we're talking about. And of course, when you go to the bestseller portal, you're going to get many of my books that represents these issues. But let's go into it. What exactly is application? So when you hear application, what exactly comes to mind? Rather, what should come to mind? And these are the concepts that I want to come to mind when you hear application, applying yourself to attain business success and personal success. And I'm going to begin by saying application is largely about your ability to form relationships that can represent collective interests. So that's the first level that I'm going to talk about. When you're talking about applying yourself, it's about forming relationships. Perhaps it may mean forming relationship with bankers, forming relationship with investors, forming relationship with, key decision makers at the highest level. It might mean forming relationship with rising stars in business, with business icons. You need these type of relationships as you apply yourself, because all of this is what's going to help to make your pathway a little easier. So of course, we're talking here today about habits that influences your business success. Yes, I know what I'm saying may be tough, but at least you have the information and you know precisely what may be holding you back. Do you have the right relationships with the right people? Are you investing enough into relationships? Perhaps you need to make annual budgetary allocation for this. So just think about it. Now, the second habit that I can expand on is very deep. So I'm not going to go into everything. All right. Now, the second one, the second pillar on the habit two that I want to talk about is you want to invest in visibility. You see, if you want to be successful and you're not visible, you may be undermining your potential to achieve the business objective. You want to be visible. So apply yourself in this context also means visible. As a rising star in business, what does apply yourself has to do with visibility? Well, let me tell you that. Let me expand on this for you. The only way you're able to break through that know, like, and trust is when you are visible. And you need to understand the art and science behind visibility. So let me try to break this down just a little bit for you. So when you're thinking about visibility, there's several things that must come to mind. One is, what is your effective use of mass media? And what do I mean by mass media? Are you using radio, television, and newspaper effectively? This is mass media. There's a right and wrong way in how you go about using mass media. All right. Your effective use of mass media is not just to say, I am using mass media to build visibility, to get my message across to the ideal client. But you're also able to measure the effectiveness of the mass media before you start using it. Because you don't want to have wasteful budgetary allocation into a platform that is not going to give you the desired results that you want. So visibility, applying yourself means this too in the business context. So when I say apply yourself in business, start thinking relationships, start thinking how you're using mass media to achieve your business objective. The next concept here on the visibility is, how well are you using social media? And you have a broad spectrum of social media platforms to use. And what I want to say is that if you're not applying yourself as a rising star in business or as an icon in business, if you're not applying yourself with social media, you are leaving massive cash flow and opportunity outside of your door. You're walking on it, you're kicking it, you know. Why am I saying this? Because social media is the new age of public relation. You have on YouTube alone, you have 2.70 billion users on this platform. That's a very big number. And if you're not positioning your value offer in front of this audience, you have to ask yourself why. Perhaps you don't have the information, perhaps you don't have the digital marketing specialist on your side to help you navigate this terrain, because it's not necessarily the easiest terrain to navigate. You need to understand it. But the issue here is, do you have the right habits around applying yourself? You want to be successful in business. You want to cash flow optimize. You want to make your million and multi-billion dollar breakthrough. Are you applying yourself in these platforms? Now, you need to know it. So when I say apply yourself, like a soldier, you're supposed to know immediately is about relationship. Immediately it's about visibility. How do I get visibility? I get visibility to mass media. I get visibility through social media, through the metaverse, and through independent communication channel. Are you able to leverage yourself and apply yourself throughout this ecosystem to attain the visibility that you want for your business success? Perhaps your business is not going to achieve the level of success that you want, because in many cases, many rising star, you don't have the budgetary allocation of funds to optimize your visibility game plan. So you see, when we started interface with businesses, and we do this stress test, we do this analysis, we can actually predict how far you're going to go based on your budgetary allocation for these things. Many businesses, they have a great brand, but you don't have the capital to fund your success, and you don't have the right mentor and the right coach to put you in contact with people that can fund your dreams and your hopes, your aspiration, your vision. So you're stuck with a great vision. All right. You're well primed to add value and fix problems, but you cannot position yourself to apply yourself to be visible in the hearts, minds, and souls of the ideal client, because you never make budgetary allocation for this. So the habit of application takes all of this into consideration. This particular part stands on 4 pillars. It stands on multiple pillars. It's thus the visibility element stands on 4 pillars. So there's so much to unpack here, and we can't really unpack all of this in one setting. And this is why we have exclusive communities that when you become a member, you can get access to this body of knowledge. You're struggling in business not because you don't have a good brand. That's not necessarily the case in all the cases. You're struggling because you don't have all the right information as to how to navigate the marketing platform, the public relation platform, the visibility platform. So there's so much that needs to be unpacked here, but I'm going to pause here for now because I know my colleague, they also have some exceptional ideas to share with you on habits that you need to learn, apply, and master when you want to be successful in business. All right. So habits that influences your success. Do you have the habit of preparedness? Do you have the habits of applying yourself? What does the face of applying yourself looks like? Perhaps it might be the face of war. I stop there. Frank, all to you. You're mute, Frank.
I have to remember that one.
Yeah.
Get a warrior face and establish peace. And I would say that's peace by force.
No one want to mess with the pit bull, right? What you do when you see the pit bull, right?
You go in a corner.
I'll take a plan for you, right? Dig your hole in front of you. You know you get caught, so you dig your hole, right?
Yeah.
The art of war. Okay, my friend, all to you. You know, we laugh at some of these things, but the reality of business sometimes, you know, the reality of life, you know,
You have to laugh at it. You have to laugh.
You got it.
But the thing about it is, when we talk about habits and being successful habits for your business, one of the things that you must realize that good habits will improve relationship with those around you. It will improve your relationship, especially with your customers, because customers need excellent services, and they also need a high quality customer care. So having knowledge concerning customer care from top institutions such as Oxford or Harvard or Stanford or even MIT, that will make you a great sales manager. It will make you an excellent customer care service provider. You can demonstrate beyond what you studied in class. Excellent customer care is seen when you go the extra mile and you use your personality, which includes your words, your gestures, your body language, in order to inspire someone to see the beauty of the product through your habits. The quality of service you provide will have an endless memory of the customer or worse experience, depending on your habits. People should be able to remember your experience with them and the service you offer. And with good habits, there are new opportunities. Some of us believe in karma, some of us don't, but that's the law of karma. What you do to others will also come back to you. Um, CEO of Virgin Group, Richard Branson, he wrote a book. It says, "Just do it," and it explains the importance of having good habits and um, conduct fair deals in the business. I've been held in prison for corrupt dealings in business. Richard acknowledged that bad habits have no power in influencing the market, but is an excellent ingredient in destroying your business and your brand. Now, when you have a great personality and good habits, you will attract many opportunities and create a powerful personal brand. Social media have changed the way people interact and connect. The use of social media has allowed many people to excel in their careers and life. And nowadays, big companies require to know your Facebook account or Twitter account to see how you interact with others through your photos, through the things you post, through your comments. And companies believe in the fact that social media accounts have a high power to tell what kind of person you are. You may miss business opportunities or employment opportunities because of your bad habit when using social media. And the way you behave is not only seen when you meet with people, but also on what you say, on what you post or you share on social media. So, what habits that you inculcate on a daily basis can either raise you to that high standard or you can be a washed out entrepreneur. This choice is yours. What we're here to do is basically to help you and to assist you to become or to reach the level of the best that you can be. The best you can be for yourself, the best you can be for those around you, for your team, the best you can be for your community. And for every one of us, we have a place in this world to influence someone for the better, for the best. What will you do? We're here to help. Over to Gary.
Uh, Frank, you made another great point, and because the people that want to do business with you, they're looking at your social media content,
Mhm.
and they're also using that to make an informed and educated decision as to whether or not they should invest with you. Let me give you a real example. One of the things that we do as we help businesses to set up to do business in the US, we advise them to have uniformity in how their social media content is built out. Why? Because we know financial institutions, they're going to go to that platform and they're going to make an objective. That's part of the data that they're pulling to make an objective decision as to whether or not to invest with you. So this is not a platform to take lightly. I like the social media platform because it has a lot of advantages. You are able to create historical data. In most cases, when you're using mass media, you have to go to an archives to find that. But on social media, you have that live archive that is always playing out there for you. And this again is one of the reasons why I want to emphasize to rising stars in business, to stars in business, that if you are not leveraging social media to your advantage, you are not leaving the crumbs on the table. You might be leaving more than half or three quarter of that cake on the table. And that's like walking away from your ice cream castle of cash flow optimization. So think about it. And when you need help with that, I want to encourage you to reach out to us because we only talk what we know. All right. Over the last few months, we have been building out our social media platform. We have attracted over 35,000, persons to our platform in just over 2 months. And this is exceptional because I can say that we've seen persons on the platform for over 5 and 7 and 8 years, and they have not attained that. Well, I'm not excluded. I mean, I would say to folks that in the earlier days when I started social media, it's more than 5 years. And I have struggled with social media to build an audience base and to scale. Yes, I have struggled. An expert has struggled, but what does expert do when you want to win a battle? You do the research, you collect the data, you bring in the right team, and with the right knowledge, the right information, the right team support on your side, you could make great things happen. And that's what we did. All right. So these are things that you would need to know and budget for. All right. Your pathway to attain success in business can be made 10 times easier when you have the right information and the right team dynamics. So I just want to say that a little bit um, uh, before I expand out. Frank, is your turn. Peter, is your turn to go now, no?
Yeah.
Let me give it all to you, and then we're going to start to wrap up just after that. All to you. Too.
And because as you were saying that for individuals coming, say for instance, you utilizing social media and communicating their message, um, they have to actually they need to know how to navigate the way. And as you do mention, there are individuals who are there for considerably amount of time without being able to make a dent into getting individuals to recognize or to see them for what they do. And as you do mention, whether it is that individuals are operating offline, if there should be, for instance, you mentioned financial institutions, if they're going to look at somebody that they want to give, credit, or to recognize them into as a part of their financial ring, then they're going to do research. If you're going, just if you're going to do a job, if you're going for an interview, just an individual who is going for an interview, yes, you may put that your put forth your application, but then after you leave from that office, you're going to go to your social media page to see who you are, how do you appear in these levels. And that is what we're talking about attracting the crowd and what you are saying, to the wider community. What is it that you are saying? Because most of in the communication that we're making right now to our audience is that the majority of people that are viewing you will not even like or subscribe what you are saying because they're a part of the wider community or the crowd. They will come, they will look at you from afar. That's the vast number of persons. And you know this, Gary, because you said it so many times that 70% of the persons who are engaging with this platform, you can see them in your analytics. You can see that there's this vast number of persons who come to gather information here, but they do not subscribe, they do not like, but you can actually see that they are coming. You see the numbers, and that's the crowd that we're talking about. That's the vast community of individuals who are there. Sometimes some will just come for every now and again, they will just come back. So the issue, as we are saying, is that there is something that we have to make a habit of communicating to these people anyhow. You have to be doing something. And so one of the ways by which we can you know speak to an audience is that, first of all, you have to be there. That's the first thing. You have to be there. Because if you're not there, as you mentioned, Gary, then we were leaving the entire bread on the table. And individuals wonder why they are struggling to get to where they want to go. You mentioned even individuals who are there for quite a considerable amount of time, and they are not their numbers are not growing, but you still have to be there, because at least you got to be there to give somebody the chance to recognize that you are there. So to speak or to communicate to the crowd, you just have to show up. And this, which I'm saying, these five concentric personalities in the marketplace that we're talking about is an idea that I received from Rick Warren, Purpose Driven Church, because it is just the way how the landscape works. So yes, you just have to show up. If you're going to communicate to the crowd, you just have to show up. This is why you find people also go on TikTok and they do just crazy stuff. They, dancing cats and all of that stuff, because they just want to show up. Some things, they just want to be there. But then we have to now take it to understand that there is a level of intentionality that you are going to, for your presence. There is an intention for you being there. So you don't just want to be there for being there. There has to be intentionality. So you now have to look at what exactly it is that you're saying, because you out of that crowd, you want to narrow to individuals to become your constituents. You want to move from the community and from the crowd to that a group of individual who will become your constituents. So those individual, as in the case of what Rick Warren was saying, where the purpose-driven church is concerned, yes, you launch your platform, your storefront, your service or your product that you're presenting to the marketplace, your church, your nonprofit organization, your club, that you first have to show up. You got to be there, and you want to be there consistently. But then now you got to identify with a particular way that your identifier, or how your people that you're attending, you have to know what they like. And so now there's a level of consistency that has to be applied, so that in the periphery vision, the crowd is now seeing something that they resonate with. And they will now move away from out of the crowd, and they will actually become your constituents, meaning they're going to come as, for instance, where a church is concerned, they're going to leave and they're going to show up to your church. So as Rick Warren spoke about this, what he said, that there are some persons, they will come they will come on Christmas, they'll come Easter, they will come where there's a funeral, they will come when there is a special event, but they are not a member of your church. They're not a member of your organization. They are not actually buying from you. They will come because somebody else is coming. They will come and they will window shop. You have individuals who will go to say a brick and mortar business. They will walk in, but they will walk back out, and they do not spend a dollar. So you have the constituents, but those persons will not cause you even though they show up. Your business will not thrive on individuals just coming into your store. Your church will not thrive by just individuals showing up on Easter or on special occasions. It will not thrive. They just come once a while. That your entity will not thrive. So what you want them to become is your congregation. When they become your congregation, now they have made a commitment that this is my entity. This is, whenever they need a particular service, they will come to you. They have made a commitment to become your congregation. They have made a commitment to become that they will now become your customer. And whenever they need the service they will be coming to you. So you want to bring the individuals down, attract them from being the persons who are just out there into the community and the crowd. You want to bring them to become a to become a constituent. When you now recognize their face and you can see them for who they are, but now you want them now to become committed to, well, they want it to become your congregation, where they make a commitment, I will give you $1. But then there's even another level. For the interest of time, I'll just go there. There's the next level that you want them to be, because you don't just want them to be a customer of your for your product or your service, or in the area of a church. You don't just want them to be a member of your congregation, because even that, there is a mission and a purpose behind your service. So you want them to be committed. You want them now to be committed, because you will find, even say for a congregation, that the 2080 rule prevails. So out of a vast number of persons who are in that congregation, there's only about 20% that they will be there for prayer meeting. They will be there for membership meeting. Every service that they have, that you're having, they will be there for the same thing for that business, that, well, products and service in the marketplace. There are some persons who they just stick to Nike. When you go into their closet, they have Nike shirt, Nike shoes, Nike bag. Nike. That's you have now a committed person, somebody who has made a commitment to that product or service. But lastly, you want to take them from being just committed, and you want them, according to Rick Warren, you want them to become your core. So they now become, as in the case of a church, they now become the ministers. They are the ones that you're going to give responsibility to. The individuals in the business circle, not only is it that they are wearing the products and the services that you are presenting to the marketplace, but they now begin to tell other people. Once somebody else said that they need a product or so, they're going to tell you, go down to this store, and they're going to be your ambassador to communicate your message across to on, and they will do it, and they're not even getting paid. So we want to be able, so business, a business practice, and this is what influence is, to move somebody from just outside there, who just see your product when you set up, or to see your service when you're setting up, to just bypass you when they see you on social media, and to move that person to the place where they are in your core, whereby they are now telling other people. Once you have something offered a new service or a new product or a new into the marketplace, they are the ones to be the first to be there. For Apple, they will, when it comes to certain time of the year, Black Friday, Black Friday, or such times when there's a large scale sale, those are the persons who go to the Apple store from 1 o'clock in the morning, because they are going to wait until they want to be first in line to get into, to purchase your product and your service. So there is an intentionality about this. You got to recognize that these things are happening, why individuals are doing this, and then you have to communicate. There's a way how you have to communicate to bring these individuals from being just out there in the community to become your core person that you can build your business on. Back to you, Gary.
All right, Peter, I like how you bring your theological ideologies and way of thinking into the conversation. And I do believe that the method of approach to, bring people from just sitting on the fence into raving customers, I think that's definitely a good concept. But let me say something. It is the fact that we have over 70% of those who are viewing the program from over 50 countries in the world. They have not yet subscribed. But I want to talk to this because of the fact that rising stars in business, you need to understand this. It's not everyone that is looking at you may be your ideal client. That's the fact. Some of the people that are looking at you may even be your competition
Mhm.
doing their SWOT analysis.
Exactly.
Right? So they hardly will be the people subscribing to you. So you just need to be aware of this. There are different consumer types that are going to be looking at your content, and all will not subscribe. You may have some that are there just for the sake of curiosity. All right, your thumbnail might have catch them. The you know your talking point, your topic might have pulled them in. So they're just there for the curiosity. And then you may have a person attempting to come out of their comfort zone. They want to learn something new, and so they're there to see if you might be the right person to provide that kind of information to them. So you have all of these factors that are playing out among your audience base. You need to know it, because if you don't know it, you might be saying to yourself, why the 70+% are not looking at my program? They may be your competition,
Mhm.
just doing their SWOT analysis. Along with this, I want to say this. You will ever have a cycle of know, like, and trust. But Peter used an important word here. You see, you need to be consistent with your message. All right? Consistency may be the pin that breaks the camel back. You need to be consistent with your message. You need to deliver your message at the highest level. You are constantly chipping away at the know, like, and trust. But let me give you some techniques that may be able to fast track your process. Taking into consideration that you are ever breaking the walls down on the know, like, and trust. You might be known locally, but you're not known regionally. You might be known regionally, but you're not known nationally. You might be known nationally, but then you're not known internationally. So you're constantly breaking this know, like, and trust down. And it takes time to do this.
Mhm.
It takes capital to do this. And if you don't know this, you can get frustrated. I'm trying and I'm not making the breakthrough that I want. It takes time, it takes capital, and it takes strategy. Now, one of the strategies that you can do to break through this cycle fast is to work with influencers. Why? Because influencers, they already have the know, the like, and the trust. But working with influencers is a high ticket exercise,
Mhm.
because influencers, because of what they know they can bring to move your organization forward, it's going to be capital intensive.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk briefly here about the effective use of influencers. So one of the habits that you want to form is to, one, position yourself as an influencer. That means that you need to have a strong personal brand or a very strong corporate brand. It needs to be strong. And you need to invest in enabling strategic players within the organization to establish themselves as the influencer. And I want to emphasize this. We at and our team, we have developed the programs designed to help you to accomplish this. So we have developed what we call the GIP initiative. And what exactly is the GIP initiative? The GIP initiative is going to help you to understand how to position yourself to become a global influencer. GIP stands for Global Influencers Partners Program. So you are not being trained to become an influencer that is local. We're going to give you the tools to take your influence to a global platform. So whether you're in the productive sector or you're in the service sector, you're going to be building visibility. You're going to be building reach and impact. You're going to be setting the stage to convert your users into striving consumers. You're going to set the stage to cash flow optimize. You will set the stage to build confidence, trust, and credibility because you're playing on an international platform. And the GIP initiative will also give you the tools to achieve that. But there's more to this than just that. When we provide you with this kind of training, you will also be shown the fastest ways to enhance and optimize your business cash flow. You will be taught what is multiple streams of income. So when you position yourself to learn the habits and master the habits of being an influencer, how to deploy influencer marketing into your business ecosystem, you have all of this to your advantage. All right, so I just want to share this bit of information with you. Habits that influences your business success. So the next time you pause a bit, you may be recognizing that you're not achieving the level of success that you want. Perhaps it's because you haven't formed the right habits around the table of content that we have discussed today. Of course, we are only able to do some high-level overview. We're only scratching the surface with this content of information. And for you to get the entire body of knowledge, I welcome you to come into our community. Now, I want to encourage you also to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there is where you're going to be getting so much more information. Because sometimes what we do, we bring additional information outside of this, where we look at a single subject and we go deep into that single subject to ensure that you get a clearer understanding of this. Outside of that, become a member. You can, sponsor a program for you and your workforce, because these information that we are bringing to you, we're absolutely certain it can transform your life, your business. So, Peter, I'm going to ask you to give your closing thoughts, your closing remarks before we wrap up today's program. Frank had to leave because, of course, the duty of work call, and we are way over our time. So, all to you, my friend.
Yeah, I just wanted to for that individual who has not yet reached the interview influencer status, perhaps he's starting out as well, or even that person who's established in business, doing well, but he has not set himself or herself online to attract the online audience to their service or to their brand. Another way by which you can attract eyes, because influencer, you don't have to be an influencer to be an influencer. You can be, because every influencer is looking for other people to speak to, a new audience to communicate with. So you can become an interviewer of the influencer. So if you align yourself with a number of
So you become an indirect influencer.
there you go. Because
Gotcha.
the audience of the influencer will be watching. And just by you being the one who is interviewing the influencer, you are now attracting the audience of the influencer to see you, because they are hearing their main person, their favorite person speaking. And then now you become a person of interest, because then you have taken interest in their key person, their influencer. So they want to know who is this person that is interviewing their influencer, and automatically you just gaining influence now just by sitting there asking questions of the influencer. So that's a hack. That's a hack that somebody can apply.
But Peter, I want to say it's a brilliant hack.
It
It's
is.
a brilliant hack. I am seeing a lot of influencers across social media. They're using that platform, and I know these folks, right? Because I started following them for some time now.
Mm-hmm.
And when they speak with authority. And they're established authors, best-selling authors, and these kind of things. And they have deviated from just presenting their content into bringing on other influencers onto their platform. So they have created what we call the double whammy, right?
Exactly.
And the double whammy effect. Go ahead, all to you, but it's being used. I love it.
I'm going to close with this because the one of the primary person in this field now is Oprah. Oprah is the queen of interviews, and
Yeah,
Oprah it became the queen of interviews by she started out by interviewing people who had more than what she had to say. They had a voice. She need to be presented into the audience. These individuals had important things that the community need, and what she brought is these persons on her platform, and they speak and they give their expertise, and that is how Oprah started. That now she becomes the one that everybody else wants to be on her stage. So
yeah,
this is why we designed this is why we had designed Legacy Chronicles in the first place. This is why we have a series of promotional platform: Kingdom Times Magazine, Church Chronicles Magazine, the Legacy Chronicles Magazine is as well, because what we do understand is that once somebody has stepped out the field to be, as we say, an influencer, just to write a book, to create an influence with your book, after you've written the book, then what? The book is not going to promote itself. So now we have other platforms that we now put an individual, take their face and put it on the cover of a magazine, and they now begin to tell their stories and talk around their message. Now they have the ability to communicate and to be more recognized in their field, much more than just a book or their so all of this goes back to master planning, because if you're not master planning is taking every concept into consideration. You're looking at the what ifs. You're taking example, as you mentioned, Gary, a number of persons who comes to view are actually competitors because they are doing their SWOT analysis, as you mentioned. They are looking for ideas. They're looking at ways to make their service or whatever it is that they're presenting better. And so you have to do the same thing too. You have to build out, using one of the words that you use, Gary, your ecosystem. You have to know exactly 24 360 degree. You have to be able to identify right around you what are the various means and ways by which you can communicate your message, and to pull, and as you rightfully say, and you really don't need all that vast amount of persons to serve to be your customer or accept your service. You really don't need it, but you need that the algorithm is going to support you when these persons come in. They may not like or subscribe, but by the virtue of them being there, and the algorithm is recognizing that this vast number of persons are paying attention, you get some kind of you get some kind of support for just being there. So but you just got to be there first. You got to be there consistently. You got to be there with content that is solving problems and impacting people's lives. And as you do that consistently, and you are always giving, then one more hack, Gary, that we can throw out there: do something. Create a special report. This is backwards, but this is one of the first special reports that we gave out to our audience. The importance of substance, system, structures, and strategy. Create something for free. Take one of your best product, one of your best ideas, and package it into a special report and give it away for free after we're finished speaking. Now tell individuals that they have access to this. Again, people may not buy it, or people may not subscribe or like, but the fact that they have something from you, now you hold a special place in their heart, because you add value to them. You gave them something of value of yourself to them for free. The other person who intends to buy your product and service, when they see that, you have now sealed you're in their minds that yes, I now have to support you because you're now giving to me without me giving to you first. And the rest is just history as we continue to move along that line, Gary.
All right. You've shared a lot there, Peter. And however, I am trusting that the audience, you had your pens, your paper, and you've taken some notes on what we talk about today. Today we cover a number of issues. Just to quickly recap some of what I talk about the importance of being prepared. All right. It is better to be prepared before. It's better for you to be prepared than to have the opportunity and not be prepared for the opportunity. Be prepared. And in your mind, you need to be very clear of what preparation looks like.
Mm-hmm.
We also talk about application. You want to consistently apply yourself with great competence after achieving your dreams and hopes and aspiration. But what exactly is application? In my presentation, I did my best to help you to understand application. Of course, we had a short period of time to do so. If you want to know more about the art of applying yourself after business and financial success, I do encourage you to reach out to us, connect with us, and we'll be happy to mentor and coach you and provide you with that support to optimize and up-level your business success. The last concept that I've talked about today is habits and the whole concept of influencer marketing. If you're a rising star in business or the average Joe who wants to attain more and you are not thinking influencer marketing, you're not thinking personal branding, I want to say to you, you're shooting yourself 10 times in the leg, because when you really understand how to play the game as an influencer, you really understand how to play the game. Being an influencer could be that you're a subject matter expert, but you know how to leverage and up level that expertise into creating public appeal. Because the fact that you have that public appeal and the ability to influence your ideal client, guess what? There are businesses that will pay hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of dollars for that kind of talent, because what every business leader wants, they want visibility, reach, impact, they want client conversion, they want cash flow optimization, and you're able to bring that to the table as an influencer. So again, if you want to know more about becoming an influencer, only yesterday I've released uh, a two parts of the 8-part series on how to become an influencer. So I want you to go to my YouTube channel, and you can definitely get that series. So you can dig in a little deeper into what it takes to become an influencer. Along with this, I want to encourage you to get registered for the GIP initiative, Global Influencers Partners Program. On this program, you're going to be trained a step-by-step approach showing you how to become an influencer. All right. And at the end of this program, you're going to have mentors and coach. You're going to have a sponsor. You're going to have supportive community. And the icing on the cake, guess what? We're able to help you get access to capital. All right. So if you want to take your business, your vision to another level of development, and you're in the US, 50 states, we're able to bring all types of capital to you. We can get you, business financing at 0% APR for 6, 12, or 24 months. Yes, we can do that. You heard me say that to you. You can get access to, uh, credit and hard money lending and equity financing. All of that is possible. So we're setting this operation to be a one-stop shop for rising stars in business and for the average Joe who wants to achieve greatness. So with that being said, I want to thank my team. My colleague Frankie had to leave, and but I want to say hello to Frank. Um, I want to say hello to Peter again for always showing up and always bringing his unique perspective on what it takes to accomplish the highest degree of success. Peter, I must say that one of the programs that you're doing is the Human Growth Development Initiative. I think is a very, very unique platform. Why? Because it talks to people about master planning. And one of the things that you want to have for your life is a master plan. Stop drifting through life. Your life is precious. You are an icon. And I want you to start seeing yourself as the greatest asset the world has ever known and will ever know. And to add meaning to that, to add value to that concept, you need your master plan. And Peter is the guy that's going to help you to develop that master plan.
And if you want to
So,
learn, just if I could just throw this in, if they want to understand more, and that they're doing it not just for themselves, but they're doing it because they're building a legacy. They're making a master plan because they want to build a legacy for future generations. So they can get to that. They can go to mylegacyproject.net, mylegacyproject.net, and be able to get some more information on how to build their master plan.
all right. So to learn more about what we are doing, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The name is right in front of you. Just put at in front of habits and money. And you can subscribe to our channel. So you will be the first to get these programs that we bring to you on a regular basis. I just want to give an update. Tomorrow, we are likely to be looking at a very topical issue. We want to look at innovation and business. And of course, as we look at that topic, innovation and business, we are fully aware that we cannot talk about innovation in a straight line, because depending on where you are in the world, there are various factors that are going to work in favor of you doing innovation, and there are going to be many factors that may work against you. So tentatively tomorrow, we want to talk about innovation, habits, innovation, and business. So with that, do enjoy the rest of your week to the audience. And Peter, I want to thank you for always showing up. And remember, get registered for Peter program. You know, he's going to really help you to develop your master plan. Be blessed and see you tomorrow.